And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mr. Kasarian, and welcome to their episode, new episode of a new series, of Automation. All right, let's get this rolling, shall we? All right, Automation, the car company Tycoon game. I am a sort of a junior motorhead in development, if you will. So this is pretty cool for me. So let's get this rolling, shall we? We have a nice blank screen, so let's start with a new car.
The design process in automation
is
represented by a time.
Thank you. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to kick this back a bit. All the way back to 1975. Gas crisis is in full swing. U.S. car market is in trouble. We have these big American boats running around, and a new contender, or a series of new contenders, have hit the scene and are causing something of a stir. Of course, I'm talking about the Japanese cars. Specifically, what I'm thinking of is the Honda Civic. Yeah, the Civic. Tiny little thing before it got bigger and peppier. Okay. So the Civic I'm looking at is actually, and I have on my second monitor some of the stats pulled up for the 75 Civic. And that's the car we're not going to build, but that's the car we're going to compete against, okay? Now, we're in a bit of trouble here, though, because the Honda Civic had an 86-inch wheelbase, okay? So let's look and see what we can find that's close to an 86-inch wheelbase. We got this thing, which actually works out pretty well. Yeah, it's not too shabby at all. It's a little shorter wheelbase. It's 77.9, you can see that, versus the 86.6. All right, what do I have here? Well, let's see. 80, but that's an older car. I mean, there's this baby. Yuck. That's 82.6. So that's close, actually. That's pretty close to what the Civic was. Actually, kind of looks like the Civic. Except that's not the hatchback. Okay, so what we can do is let's change this up a little bit. I don't want it to look exactly like the Civic, but good, more of a race line. We want it to kind of look American, so let's pull this forward a little bit. Let's pull this like that. Let's flare these out just a little bit. Let's flare this out just a little bit. We can lengthen it. No, I don't like it that. We can pull that back, though. Pull that back. That looks pretty good, actually. Kind of a hatchbacky thing. Two-door going on there. All right, so that looks good. So we, of course, are not going to call this a Civic because it's not a Civic. Honda, don't sue me. We are going to call this the Polis. All right? Polis is a Greek word that means kind of city-state or nationality or country. All right? And I think this is a front engine. I hope to gosh this is a front engine. Right? This is a front engine, maybe? Well, we'll find out. All right, let's bump the quality a little bit. Yeah, there we go. So let's go with a monocoque. So, yeah, monocoque chassis versus a ladder chassis. Let's do... Galvanized steel. The original Hondas had some rust issues, and they've been out for a couple years now. People are starting to see that. I don't think the recall has happened yet. So let's go galvanized, all right? And let's do a transverse, because we're going to just be doing a... this is a pretty basic design, right? Because we're doing... Yeah, okay. So the bay size is going to be 288.1. So let's go with a... Because now we're looking at a bay size, still 288.1. Let's go with McPherson struts in the front. That's the same coil and strut you've seen. We could do a double wishbone, which I can kind of zoom in on for you. See, that's double wishbone versus just a McPherson. Let's do a McPherson. That seems like a better idea. That's what your car probably has in the front. And then let's go, what do I want to do in the back? So we could go with a semi-trailing arm, which has a high weight. Drivability is low on that. The problem with that is it's high. The weight's high on that, very low on that, very low on that. I want a decent drivability. So it looks like we're doing a semi-trailing arm. So you can see that there's that connector in the back. And we could go with that. Let's just go with a steel body. Bump the quality a little bit to kind of balance it out. All right, so we want this thing to kind of look American, right? So let's go with some chrome headlights. Let's make these a little bigger. Yeah, that's good. And then I want to go with my indicators, and this is a design I usually use. It's the 70s, so let's chrome it up. Want them kind of straight up and down like that. Here we go. That looks pretty regular, right? And then let's go back to headlights, and let's give ourselves there. Let's move these down just a little bit. There. I want them almost down on that grill, all right? So let's go back to indicators. Honda's big on that whole safety thing, so let's get ourselves a side indicator. And let's come around to the back. We'll do exhaust first. So let's just go with a single. I don't want anything fancy, really. Oh, right. This is that car. Great. Okay, so unfortunately, this car really only likes to have the exhaust pack right there with this body shape, all right? I don't know why it does it, but that's kind of what it does. So let's go with indicators again. Let's get some squares. These things are monstrous squares, so let's shrink them a bit. Let's put them there. And then let's get some tail lights. I don't want anything that looks too modern, really. I want something that looks kind of crappy. These ones should do the trick. Let's line them up. All right, so this looks fairly Honda-esque, right? Right, we need a grill, of course. So let's go with, again, we want something that looks fairly cheap. So let's slide that down. We want it kind of taller. And then let's go with a same design here, but then let's wrap it a fair amount. Let's make it a bit bigger. Plenty of cooling in this baby. All right. So handles should be pretty simple. I want something kind of retro looking. Looks pretty good. Indicators. We don't need any vents. We don't need a bonnet extension at all. I mean, we could slap one on there, but what's the point? This is a Econoline car, right? Right. Badging. Right, badging. Let's go with the really simple one. We'll put it right on the center of the hood. We want everyone to know that this is our Econoline. Yeah. That's a weird place to put a taillight. All right, let's bump the quality a little bit. Now let's move ahead. Color, let's say this is a bit more... Nope. Not that either. Maybe a bit darker. There we go. A nice puke green. We're going transverse front wheel drive, of course. And we need to design a new engine. Okay. So the family, this is going to be an inline 4, right? 4-cylinder in a line. The engine family is going to be a Alpha 411. All right, so I have a naming system. The first number is the family, so it's an Alpha family engine. Its layout is a 4, so 4. We don't have any V4s, so it's just a 4. Layout, and then we have the two last numbers are block lower and block upper. 1-1 means it's a cast iron block, and it's going to be a cast iron upper. So let's go with an overhead cam. We don't need a DOHC, all right? We don't need the full-on DOHC stupidity. Head and valves, okay. It's an 8 valve, so that would be 2 valves per, all right? So let's stick with that for right now. Cast iron and no, actually, let's go up to 3. All right. So that gives us a 12 valve engine. We haven't unlocked VVL yet. Okay, crank cast, con cast, pistons cast. We could go all the way up to hyper-uretic cast. Material cost is a little higher. Production units are a little higher. Weight's the same. But we get better emissions. So let's go up to a hyper-uretic cast on the piston heads. And, yeah, that's a bit higher on the production units. Better material cost if we go up to forged steel, but again, higher on the production units. So we can come back and look at that. All right. So now the engine size that we're targeting is the old Honda. It's an old Honda. Oh, gosh. I have my bore and my stroke in the wrong settings. Oh, crud. Okay. Anyways, the variant. This is going to be a... Let's see. The original engine was a 12, let's say a 1.4. So we'll say that this is our 1.5 FE for fuel injection. 0, because it has no VVL or VVT. No turbo, A. All right, so if it was a turbo, there'd be a T in there as well. All right. All right. Now, I need to go back out for a second. Go to options and say that my length I want in meters. All right, let's go back into the sandbox. Let's go back and start looking at engines. And we're going to go look at the 15FE04. All right. Let's go back to what we were working on over here, which I believe was this, the variant capacity. Oh, right. So that's pretty good because it lets us drop our... Let's raise this up in our family, all right? Now, you can only do this with the first engine. I want my smallest engine I want to produce is going to be roughly a 1.5, all right? So there we go. So our stock engine size is going to be a 2. So the max engine size we can get up to is going to be a 2.1 cubic centimeter engine, or a 2.1 liter engine. All right. So if we go over to our family here, we can go all the way down. The smallest engine is about a 1.5 liter. All right. So we can bump the quality a little bit. So we're building a tiny 1.5 liter engine here. Okay, so this will leave stock. Actually, I'll lower the cam profile, the compression a bit. Let's boost the cam profile up to kind of a sporty setting-ish. And we'll leave that the same. Let's bump the quality a little bit. After all, we're kind of producing a better Honda after that whole rust issue. Gosh, isn't this pretty, though? Look at that. Okay. So, we could go up, we can go down, we could look at the block. So, VVL we don't have. Turbo, let's go naturally aspirated because this isn't a turbo engine. All right, so we could go injection, but we'd be using mechanical injection, which is a remarkable pain in the neck. So let's go with a carburetor. Okay. And we're going to go with a 2-barrel single, I guess. Let me check my comparison numbers over here. Let's see. Rear wipers. Yeah, we know. Outperform American competitors. Okay, 3-barrel carburetor. Okay. Which we don't really have access to. So let's go with a 4-barrel. All right. That's more expensive, but it gives us some higher max horsepower. Well, emissions would be very high versus DCOE. Fuel efficiency would be low. So I think we're better with a 4-barrel, all right? Even though it weighs a bit more and it costs more, all right? We're going to go with standard intake, and we're going to design this thing for regular, okay? But we're going to try and leave a catalytic off of it. Let's give us a little bit more fuel mixture, and let's keep the RPMs a bit low. We'll boost this up. Okay, so let's go with a short cast. And single, no bypass. Let's go with no catalytic converter. No muffler. Let's do a straight through, a pair of straight throughs just for... This is a tiny 4-cylinder, all right? So let's go through here. Let's start this baby up. Well, it looks like we got some more headroom on this engine, that's for certain. All right, so we're hitting some issues, knocking issues, that's fine. But that gives us a good idea. So let's take a look over here. Our fuel octane is 91.3. So let's... Let's reduce our compression a little. Just to get it down there to 90 to 89 point that. Then we'll lean our fuel mixture, so 90. So we have 91 as our maximum here. So let's drop this down. We'll push this up a little. Because this is a Honda engine after all, or our variant thereof. Let's give it a little bit more on the RPM limit, all right? We'll see how that goes. It keeps telling me valve float, but I'm not seeing any valve float. So let's go out of here, and let's actually test this engine again. All right, so we're almost getting 100 horsepower to this baby. So let's go back here. Let's give ourselves that much of the RPM department. Okay, so it looks like 5,900 is our max power. So let's drop this all the way back down to 5,900 RPM. And we're looking pretty good here. Fuel efficiency's pretty good. Octane's pretty good. Can I squeak a little bit more out of... Let's see, cam profile. If I sporty up the cam profile a little bit. There we go. So we've got ourselves 90. If I kill this a little bit... We don't need that big of an engine, right? We don't really need that big of an engine. All right, the CVCC engine, which is kind of what we're competing with, was 53 horsepower, all right? So we don't need all of that compression. Well, the problem is if we drop compression, we start dropping efficiency in there too. So if I... that back up a little bit. So yeah, we're kind of limited right now just because this is such a tiny flipping engine. If I decrease this a little bit, nah, it's not really worth it. So this looks like it's decent enough. All right, so we're getting about a little less than a pound of fuel per horsepower. That's the problem. It's a decently sized engine actually at 1.5 liters, and we're pushing almost 100 horsepower out of this thing. So I think that should be good enough for right now. We can come back and refine this thing later. And that's my alarm that my running out. Oh no, that my other video is done. Great. All right, so let's go into model. Oops. Let's pull the Polis up. There we go. We can look at the engine stats. Now let's go. Oops. Let's go back to the model. Apparently not. Car trim 1. This is going to be the base model. All right. Nice base model. We'll choose the engine. We'll shove the 1.5 liter in there. It's not letting me progress beyond that, apparently. Is it too big of an engine? Or do I have to exit out, go back into Sandbox, edit the car? $334.7. So if we go to... Oh, unable to load engine. It's too big. It's too big? It's too big. You're certain about that? Well, let's try and mount. That's irritating. I wish it would have warned me it was too big. Alright, so let's see if now I can put the engine in there. I guess it doesn't actually change the engine size at all. Right, because it's still going to say 334.7. Yeah, that's what it's going to do. That's a bit of a problem then. Let's see if that does it. Alright, so this is going to be an issue because it's going to be a longitudinal engine now. So yeah, we can fit that in there now. There we go. Alright. So we're going to go with a manual, single clutch, 4-speed. Top speed's expected to be 102, so let's give it just a wee bit of overdrive there. Power band, power at wheels and horsepower. Alright, so let's keep... I wish it actually showed me where my power band was. So let's get a bit less spacing, actually. A bit longer on the first gear. We'll go low, average, average. Yeah, we'll keep it open. We'll boost the quality a little bit. We'll do medium compound road steel. We'll keep everything stock, increase the quality a little bit. We'll do solid, 1, drum, none. Let's give it a bit higher on the comfort side on both of these. Get that up a little bit and boost that a little bit. Give me a quality bump there too. No undercooling airflow. We only need like 47 something. Like we're wicked over engineering this engine right now. So let's do that. Let's give ourselves some more brake flow. There we go. Alright, so we'll give it 2 seats, standard, basic, power steering, boost the quality, but we will go for advanced 70s safety, alright? Let's go with, so material cost 26, material cost 260, so let's go with comfort average, comfort low. So we'll go with progressive, monotube passives with a normal preset, ride height standard. All right, let's get the detail stats up. That's not bad. Drivability's pretty decent. All right, so we're having some oversteer, understeer issues and some brake fade issues. So why don't we, and some wheel spin. So why don't we kill the brake fade first, all right? So if I pull this up, let's see here. Tires, brakes. There we go. All right, so the brakes are a bit heavy. So if I comfort them out a little bit. If I boost this maybe? No. Well, the brake fade looks fine. So if we boost this maybe. There we go. So it's my rears that are having issues. All right, so this thing weighs much less than a ton. That's nice to see. Boost that a little bit. So we're having a little bit of brake fade. Maybe if I boost this. Nah, it's not going to do anything. There's really no hope in the comfort being anything other than abysmal. This thing is not a sporty car, all right? So brake fade's gone down. We have a little bit of brake fade, but it's not really that noticeable. Can I actually get away with decreasing this a little bit? Yeah, okay, I can. Well, it drops the comfort a little bit. Not by anything noticeable, though. The main thing it saved us is a little bit of weight and a little bit of cost. All right. So then let's look at the oversteer, understeer issue we're having. All right, so let's look at the transmission for a minute. So it wants a really well spaced out. Unfortunately, I'm losing MPG like a maniac now. Yeah, so that's about where I want to be there. That wheel spin's a metric pain in the rear end. If I went to sports compounds, I'd lose some drivability and lose some wheel slip, but it doesn't really matter to me. If I boost my tire width... Yeah. Oh, wow, look at that. Okay. I'm losing... Well, it's getting me a bit of more safety, and it's dropping that wheel spin. And that's about all I can do there. All right, but what if I increase my wheel diameter a little bit? Can't. Rim diameter maybe can go up. That drops my drivability. That drops wheel... Jeez, look at that wheel spin. Yeah, nothing I could really do there. Yeah, let's just boost the quality a little, I guess. That's about all I can do with that. Just the wheel spin issue is going to be a pain in the rear end. Okay, speed. Well, there's not much I can do here. I mean, I can... drop my airflow a little bit. Need to have that as decent. Yeah, and that's not gonna... Doesn't really matter on that either. Okay, so here that looks good. This looks okay. Okay, right, I have to do this adjustment set now. Oh, gosh. Oops. Well, it's increasing drivability and sportiness, I guess. Ah, drop my drivability. So if I decrease this more... Nope. Nope. Oh, I increase my comfort a little bit. And that decreases just about everything. If I decrease this, sportiness goes up, sportiness goes up. Okay, so we'll just kind of boost that until it stops benefiting me anything. Drop that a little bit. Well, That gets my comfort up. There we go, bottom out 0, that's what I wanted to see. Damper stiffness, needs a bit more damper stiffness apparently. Which is decreasing my roll angle, by the way. Okay, so that's about as high as I want to go. Not really any good benefit on my comfort. My comfort's dropping kind of fast there, so we'll... Yeah, alright, that seems to be about as well where I'm willing to go. Sway bar stiffness. Boost my safety like heck. Yeah, I'll boost that back up. Up here. That seems to be perfect right there. We'll boost the quality a little bit. Roll angle 4 isn't terrible, but You know, what can you do? All right, so let's look at this thing. Detail stats. 50 on the drivability. It is very drivable. They hate the gearbox, but that's neither here nor there. Engine's nice. They like the engine. They like the roll angle low, wheel angle low. Wheel spin's a bit of a pain in the neck, but that's all I can do there. Sportiness, okay. Nope. Engine's bad. Understeer, oversteer's bad. Gearbox is bad. Chassis stiffness is bad. They like the driver height. How do you guys like the driver height? Roll angle, eh. Engine sound, yeah, I know. Torque curve is pretty nice, apparently. Brake pad type is kind of meh. Body, center of drag, drag coefficient, yeah, I know. Tire profile, yeah, I know. Downforce, I know. Suspension, yeah, I know, guys. Dynamic response is nice. Comfort, where are we losing? We're losing it in the brake caliper, chassis stiffness, gearbox, roll angle, torque curve, yay. Smoothness, we're losing it. Cabin noise, yeah, I know. Entertainment, yeah, I know. Anything we can do about the cabin noise? Not really. Not really. Okay, but that looks pretty decent. And that is the Paulus. We're not even going to bother taking it. Well, yeah, it took us 2 minutes, almost 3 minutes to do the track. Airfield. Took us 1:50 to do the track. This is not a very fast car. Yeah. Yeah, it takes about 45.5 meters to go from 62 to 0. Quarter mile, 18.18. Yeah, okay. 0 to 60 in 10 seconds. 50 to 75 in 6. That's not bad. Cornering. Cornering's actually, look at that. 0.99, almost a G. Again, almost a full G at 108. We have some lift on the front, though, but that's neither here nor there. Anyways, guys, so this is our first car. It is the Beast model Paulus. It's kind of a pain in the neck, but that will have to do. Anyways, I hope to see you in the next episode where we'll be working on a comfier version, kind of an LE model, and we'll see how that goes. All right, see you next time.